What's up everyone, Yeller here, and today I'm going to be showing you an exploit that shouldn't be removed from the game. I've been sitting on this video for the last 2 days, not sure if I should even release it, because when I hit Endgame and I started trying to do the tower and farm Dreamstones, it made me want to quit playing. And the reason for that is because there's not an easy way to farm gear if you're playing solo, where it doesn't require a ridiculous amount of resources. Basically, everything in the game, whether that's Dreamstones or upgrading gear or enchanting gear, requires a ridiculous amount of money, and it's really just not worth it. It basically made me stop playing the game. If you're a multiplayer, it's fine because you can have your teammates keep queuing for different Dreamstones and your team can farm gear there and make it work. So I was really hesitant about posting this video because I don't want the devs to fix this. Now, I'm sure the devs will see this video because it's going to be labeled Godfall exploit. So if you're going to fix this, please fix the fact that it's impossible to play endgame solo. Otherwise, I can't see any reason for people to continue playing this game. Now, before we get into the exploit today and I break everything down, how it works, why you should do it, why the devs shouldn't fix it, please hit that like button. It helps out the YouTube algorithm, and this really needs to be seen not only by everyone that plays this game, but by the devs. And if you're interested in more Godfall content, consider subscribing. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so let's start off with the major problem this game has as an endgame single player, and explain why this exploit is actually mandatory. You'll see here, to craft the level 18 Dreamstone, it costs 30,000 Electrum, meaning if I want to play the hardest version of Macros for whatever reason, I'm actually going to lose a ton of resources. There is zero chance I make 30,000 Electrum out of that run, even if I salvage every single piece of gear that drops. Now, the other issue here, which I'm not going to get into too much because it's not the point of the video, is there's already zero reason to run this Dreamstone anyway because of how loot drops work in the world, and again, that's a completely different issue that needs to be addressed. But, alright, let's go ahead and look at upgrading gear. Okay, so I go to my forge, and let's say I want to upgrade my weapon to its final form and get the additional bonus stat. It costs 45,000 Electrum. Alright, so what about enchanting an item you like to make it legendary? 30,000 Electrum. I can keep going, but I think you get the idea here that to progress in any sort of fashion in the endgame, you need Electrum, and disenchanting items doesn't really give you a lot. So you'd think they'd give us a reliable way of farming it, right? Wrong. The missions stay the exact same level they were when you first got to them. So if I want to farm Electrum, I have to spend hours doing nothing but playing low-level missions. Now, if this game had matchmaking, this could be fixed, but it doesn't. So you're forced to either find people to group with if your friends aren't online, or just not play. So I decided to find a workaround. And here's the exploit. Now, you can do this exploit on any Gauntlet Dreamstone at any point. So the best one to do it on is the one you're seeing now, the Exalted Earth Realm. This is the 12th Dreamstone, and basically the boss of the Dreamstone is what you're seeing now. There are 4 elite enemies that you have to dispatch, and once you clear it, you win some loot, and you get to move on to the next Dreamstone. However, these enemies already drop good loot because they're elites. And since this is a level 50 Dreamstone, everything they drop will be level 50. And with the way drops work in this game, they can drop any epic or legendary besides the unique Tower of Trials gear. So obviously, based on this information, this is already the best place to farm if you're playing in general, whether you're by yourself or with a team. Now, if I complete this Dreamstone, I can go out, I can craft another one, and spend a lot of Electrum. However, what you should do is you should kill 3 of the elites, and then just abandon the mission. By doing this, you get the drops from 3 elites, and you can instantly queue back in and kill them again without having to pay anything to unlock the Dreamstone or clear the 2 previous missions required to get to these bosses. You'll see here, after I kill the 3rd elite, I turn around and go collect all of the loot that's dropped from the 3 bosses so far. These runs take me roughly a minute and a half to complete, with my better runs coming in under a minute as I've gotten more gear and gotten stronger. So you can farm a lot of gear very quickly to build up your Electrum supply or just get better upgrades. now that I've collected the loot from the 3 bosses, I'm going to go ahead and pause the game and abandon the mission. Again, I can jump right back in and queue right back into the Dreamstone. To give you an idea of the loot you can get from doing this, I'm going to let this run play out. It takes about 45 seconds, and you guys are going to see what kind of loot these enemies can drop. Then, once it's over, I'll show you what you can get in roughly 5 minutes of farming, which is about 3 runs. And again, all of this costs 0 Electrum, and the better you get at fighting these guys, the quicker the runs go. So you'll see from that run, I end up getting 2 legendaries, couple epics, a lot of blue and green gear, and this was one of the better runs of this morning, but I had 3 other runs like this, so it's not like it's impossible for it to happen. So I didn't open my inventory for 5 minutes. I wanted to get 3 runs in and see what kind of loot I got. I ended up getting 16 weapons, 2 of which were legendary, 6 lifestones, and a few more pieces of gear. There's currently nowhere else in the game that you can farm like this, and honestly, even using this exploit on 1 piece of gear, it still takes a really long time to level it and max it. That's why I don't think this should be removed. In fact, I don't even really think it's an exploit. I think it's more a clever use of game mechanics, and it wouldn't be required if some simple changes were made to the game. Finally, I just want to end on some quick tips for the run. I prefer dual weapons for this run simply because of how the weapon technique works. Basically, I take my time on the first mob, High Lord Phalanx, and the goal is to finish him with 2 bars of weapon technique generated. If done correctly, you can pop your weapon technique and go kill the second elite, Wraith Lord, insanely fast and not worry about any incoming damage. Once the Wraith Lord is dead, pick up any Fury on the ground and it should be enough to pop Archon Fury and possibly do a weapon polarity. By doing both or even one of these, the third elite is melted instantly and the run is done. So that's going to be it for today's video. Please let me know what you think of all of this in the comments below. I'd like to see what other players think, and if the devs see this, please understand, I really enjoy playing your game, and I really love the combat in this game. It mimics my favorite single-player game of all time, God of War, and I would love to keep playing this. But without this exploit, there's absolutely no way for me to progress as a player without grouping with others. So please consider that before making any sweeping changes to this method. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video today, please toss it a like and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.